What is good, everybody? Welcome into the Bluebloods, man, official podcast of FCS Football Central on SI. As we always do, man, me and Coach told y'all we were going to be a little bit more present this season, man. We don't have as much going on off the field, but we're back, man. Week 0, Coach. I don't know about you, man. I'm sure it feels good as a coach to kind of sit back and be able to watch because, Coach, starting this weekend, right, you ain't gonna be able to watch many games. Like you're gonna be pretty busy. So I bet it was nice to sit back and relax and just be able to watch some of these games, man. It was a good appetizer for week 1, man. We got games starting on Thursday this week, including y'all's game this week. But Coach, how we feeling, man?
Man, feeling great. It's here. We're in it. We started it. As you said, we dipped our toe into it. Now we're about to put our whole leg in the pool, and man, just super excited, man. It was actually nice to sit back and watch a game as a fan, uh, with no worries on no calls, no official calls, none of that stuff. Just to sit back and watch it, man. It was great.
Coach, how are you feeling, gang? Going into Thursday. It's a weird week for y'all, right? Y'all play Thursday night on the road, Northwestern State, only winless team last year in FCS football, which a lot of fans are going to look at that and say, man, they got an easy game week 1, but Coach, those teams are always the hungriest. And it was year 1 of that staff. They're obviously going to be better year 2. Coach, how are we feeling going into the week, man? You guys, Coach said kind of was just on the coach's call, kind of previewed his thoughts going into the game, man. But how are you feeling?
Man, feeling good, man. We've had a real good camp. Our kids have really attacked it and gotten themselves into football shape. You're never going to be tip top, so to speak, but we're as close as we can be. I think we're right where we need to be when we talk about that. In shape for football. And the thing with the team that we're facing is, they brought in a lot of new pieces, and like you said, it's year 2 of the staff. So, you really don't know what it's going to be until you actually kick it off. But, I like my chances anytime we have a chance to step in between those lines. So, feel pretty good about it.
Yeah, I got a. I'm really really excited to see it. I mean, no comment from you on this, but I'm really excited to see Reggie make his debut at running back. I think there's a lot of people in the SWAC that are going to be surprised how good that kid really is at running back. I know, and that's not taking. I want to make sure I say that it's not taking anything away from Jacorian Sewell, who's just as who is really good as well. But Coach, Alcorn's known for having a 1-2 dynamic punch at running back. Adding Reggie Davis from Chattanooga gives y'all that, man. I'm really, really excited to see what he can do this weekend.
A Bama boy too, man. So I know
Yes.
you've seen him all the way through high school. Was pretty well known in that state, and then what he did over at Chat, was really outstanding. And so hopefully he brings that with us on Thursday night.
It was the weekend of the running back, Coach. To be fair, to kind of like perfect transition, Trey Holly, Chris Mosley, even going to the Tarleton game, Trey Page, the third, had an insane game for Tarleton. I want to see it almost 200 yards rushing. Octavius Eisen in the Mercer game before the no contest happened was having an outstanding game. I hate the fact that that was a no contest. We really got to work on these weather rules because just to say, Coach, how mad would you be as a coach? And we're going to get into some HBCU football. If you played all the way up until 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and then they just say the game never happened, they erase all the stats, and y'all just got to go on to the next week.
Oh man, we were a part of that a couple years ago, um, when they were playing the SWAC MEAC Challenge at home and away sites. We went down to Daytona. We didn't get that deep in the game, but I thought once you got fourth quarter-ish that it was in the books. So I wasn't aware of the time you have to have. I thought once you got to the fourth quarter that it was in the books, win, lose, or draw, wherever you are on the scoreboard at that point. But I'd be highly, highly upset, especially if I was on that upper end. I'd be
Yeah.
highly upset. Highly upset.
To give some perspective, it was 23-17, Coach, just over 7 minutes left. But here's the kicker, right? UC Davis was leading 23-3 in the third quarter. Mercer scored 2 unanswered touchdowns and had the ball in UC Davis territory, Coach, when the weather hit. So they were about to score to take the lead. So I think that's why they went with the no contest, because you can't say that, oh, UC Davis wins when the other team was 6 points down and in scoring position.
And that took all the momentum. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I get it, but if I'm, again, I wasn't aware of that, and I got to go back and look. But I thought once you got to the fourth quarter, that pretty much gave you the seal if something happened where you couldn't finish the game. But just to erase it completely, hey, that was just a what do you want to call it? Joint practice. Yeah, I'd be
Yeah.
great.
Especially because Mercer's running back left the game hurt. So now you have an injury from a game that doesn't even count,
Yep.
that you don't even get statistics from. I'd be pissed. But man, let's move into the MEAC SWAC challenge, man. Shout out to Mr. Campbell, Brian, Reese, HBCU Band Talk, Reds World, David Jackson. Man, appreciate all y'all tuning in. Coach, I don't know about you. This game went a lot of the ways that we talked about last week on what we kind of felt like how these teams matched up. 31-14 North Carolina Central. Man, I thought I'm classifying this as a statement win, Coach, because I understand that early it might have been close, but was there ever a point in this game, Coach, that you didn't feel like Central was in control?
Maybe during that 80-yard run that Southern was able to break off, you may have thought that, okay, because that was a 6-point, 12-point swing at that
Yep.
point. They had just turned it over, then they get the ball, boom, go down and score. I'm thinking that the momentum at that point may be starting to swing, but NCCU quickly swung that right back and took over. So, I'm kind of like you. Maybe for about 60 seconds, you might have thought, okay, it's about to turn. Nah. Nah.
I'll say this, okay. They had the 80-yard run, but if you remember after that put it, what was it, 14-10. But the problem was Central scored, what was it, the first play of the next drive?
Yeah, yeah,
When
that kid.
Chris Mosley just flipped it.
Yeah,
I'll say this. I was really, really impressed with Central's offensive line. I understand that we can talk about all these other storylines, Coach, but and I know it sounds cliche because everyone wants to say, "Oh, if you win the line of scrimmage, you win the game." That's a lot of the times the case, Coach. But you've been coaching a long time. There's times where you've been better in the line of scrimmage and have lost the game just on because it's football and anything can happen on Saturdays. Central dominated the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball, in my opinion. And I understand people are going to look at the stats, Coach, and see the insane amount of yardage that Southern put up in the run game that really only came from 2 runs. Outside of those 2 explosive touchdown runs, Southern really didn't move the ball well at all. In my opinion, just going back and watching the film, Central felt like they got whatever they wanted every single time they touched the football. Because you know him really well, and Matt Leone. You've been a DB coach, and I understand. I'll give this as BJ Jones, former Southern DB, one of the best guys in the space, was just saying he felt like Henry Miller in that defense, Coach, when your D tackles are just getting dominated like that, you have to bring a safety down in the box for run support. And and it's week 0. I don't think they trusted their DBs to play press man with no safety help over the top, which made them play 8 yards back every single play, Coach. And if you watch Walker Harris, he'd hit the out route, he'd hit the comeback, he'd hit the hitch. He would just throw everything underneath. And for me, Coach, looking at Matt Leone and Walker Harris, you have a redshirt senior quarterback. In my opinion, you have the best OC in HBCU football. Coach, the Southern never made them sweat. You just let Matt Leone prop his legs up in the press box and stay on page 1 of his playbook. He never had to do anything insane. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I get what BJ's saying, but then you also at that point, I think you've got to start doing something to get Walker off his spot. You know what I mean? I don't recall too many times of Southern's defense at his feet. You know what I mean? I don't think there was too many times where he threw it, and just as he throws, he gets hit. I don't remember too many of those. So when you let a really experienced quarterback get really comfortable, and then on top of that, they were able to have sound running game to go along with that. So he never really had to sit back there 3rd and 15, momentum game on the line, and have to make a throw. And, hats off to my guy, Matt. They found different ways to take away the one guy that we know could put pressure on the quarterback. They found a way to do it, and we talked about that on the show.
Yeah.
Made that end a little bit longer. Southern actually moved them to the other side. That was fine for them. Now there was a couple times you go back and look. The running back goes by, checks, makes sure he's good, and the tackle was excellent, which also led to the fact that Matt didn't have to do anything out of the ordinary because he didn't really have to send help over there to control that situation. So, you got to do one or two things. B, that either I'm finna turn it up to 500, or I'm gonna sit back and play soft and let you make a mistake. But if you sit back and play soft, hoping they make a mistake, you've got to cut the run off, and they couldn't do it.
You want to know what the most telling stat of the game was? And I think Gerald dropped this on HBCU Nightly last night, Coach. Chris Mosley averaged over 4 yards per carry before contact.
That's getting up in there.
Man, that is... I don't think people understand how actually insane of a stat that is, Coach.
They weren't running option. It wasn't just, sweep right, sweep left, student body right, student body left.
4 yards per carry running in between the tackles is insane. And, Coach, he ended the game with 15 carries, 174 rushing yards, and a touchdown, and averaged 11.6 yards per carry.
And to average 4 yards before you're touched is insane.
Coach, there were screenshots, and I want to say it was from BJ. He sent our group chat. Coach, there were times where the D tackles were behind the linebackers.
That's never good.
There were screenshots of defensive tackles, Coach, with their back turned away from the ball.
Yeah, that's never good.
There's just nothing you can do. I think now, did Southern get bigger inside, Coach? I think they did in terms of just on paper weight. But just because you got bigger, Coach, doesn't mean you got more physical, doesn't mean you got better, and doesn't mean you got more athletic inside.
Yeah, and that's what I was about to say. Like you said, paperweight, that's fine. Yeah, you went and got a bunch of 300 pounders, but can they move? Can they get out of their stance? Again, do they have the reach? Because and I know, if they've got those short arm guys, and then those other big guys are long arm guys, it's going to be a tough battle. So yeah, you probably got heavier, but then did you get more athletic? And I want to make sure that we make this point. The biggest improvement always comes from week 1 to week 2. And yeah, it did look bad at times. I think we can say that. I think it's safe to say that. But there's also a lot of room for improvement, so they've got to be encouraged about that.
Did you feel like offensively for Southern, where do you think it went wrong for them? Just kind of watch, because obviously I want to put a point. Every time you offer a critique on a game, Coach, we're not in the room, so we can make our best assumption on what was called. We can talk about the concept, because you could tell by the blocking assignments, things like that. But we weren't in the room, and we don't know everything, right? We got to make our best guess. Just looking at how they approach this thing offensively, Coach, where do you think it went wrong for Southern?
I think, and we identified it on the show, their identity is what? Running the football. And when you can't do that, and the other thing, B, you got to go back and look. It wasn't that NCCU had to put a 13-man front up there. You know what I mean? So they didn't have to sacrifice anything to cut the run off. They just, for whatever reason, they were able to do it. And I think, that threw them off track. So I think, wanting to be run heavy and then you fall behind, like we always talk about, me and you jokingly, those Nebraska teams of the back in the day, where if you get up on Nebraska 14 back in the day, you were pretty much in control because they could not throw the ball. And I think with that situation, not being able to run the ball, uh, I think it kind of got coach off track. And I think at that point, you start to scramble for what's on that play call sheet. And just speaking from my experience as a play caller, when certain things aren't working that should be working, that's when you flip that sheet over and then it's like, oh, okay, let's see what this do. And I think that's probably one of those things where coach kind of ran into that and was like, hey, let's just see what we can get going, and they just could not get anything to move.
I was really impressed with Trey Holly. I do want to put that out there. I thought he looked like by far the best offensive weapon Southern has, Coach. I mean, listen, I understand. And here's the thing that I think was different about Southern's because I saw a lot of people talking about they weren't impressed with Central's defense, Coach. I was very impressed with them in the second half. Once they made the adjustments and kind of woke up, they started fitting the run better. They started getting more penetration. They started getting pressure on the quarterback. I thought they played really well in the second half. The first half, Coach, it was your typical week 1, week 0 mistakes. I went back and watched the film on the McCoy touchdown, Coach. They ran that kind of RPO read option thing, and the linebacker just got caught in space. He had to make a decision, Coach, and he made the wrong one. And then McCoy's just an athlete, and he's going to beat you to the spot. And once he beat him to the spot, he took a bad angle, and it was over. But for the Holly one, Coach, I went and looked. They blitzed the linebacker, and it looked like the safety hesitated just a bit to fill the open gap. And Holly hit it, and he was late, and he missed him. He had the outside hip, Coach, and he just didn't make the tackle, and Holly was gone because there was no second-level defender because they blitzed. I think outside of those two plays, Central's defense played really well. I didn't see anything that made me worry about Central's defense personally. I don't know how you felt watching it. I'm going to let you give your take.
Yeah, and then the first touchdown that you talked about, if you go back and watch it, it's a rule on defense. If you go under a block, you better damn well make that tackle. And he went under and he didn't make the tackle, and out the gate it went. But back to your original question with NCCUD, the only thing, man, is there was about 30 yards, 45 yards worth of penalties from those guys on the outside. That can be very concerning if you run up against someone that can actually hit different balls on you down the field in the pass game. Outside of that, man, like you said, I think up front they controlled it. The guys in the middle did what they needed to do, nothing overly spectacular. And then in the back end, outside of those penalties, like I said, I think it was about 45 yards worth of PIs. Outside of that, I mean, those guys were where they were supposed to be. And again, once you get comfortable and you get up a couple scores and you don't have to do a lot of gambling, I think that makes everybody on the field play a lot better. You're loose, you're free. But I'm kind of like you. Outside the corners, I didn't see anything that would just be really, really alarming to the fact that you're like, man, they're in trouble.
I was really impressed with Thomas Johnson off the edge. He had 7 tackles, 2 for loss, that forced fumble. And I think that was the biggest thing for Southern's offense, coaches. They've relied on the explosive plays so much that you saw Central's offense. They had those explosive plays, but coach, they also could just get you 5, 6, 9, 10 yards and just walk down the field. And football is won in the margins, man. Like those explosive offenses can be really good, right? When all you do is rely on the explosive play. Coach, me and you know that's not sustainable. Like it's just like turnovers. They're game-changing plays, but you cannot rely on them week to week and for 60 minutes. Like it's eventually going to catch up with you because someone's going to make it where you don't have explosive plays, and that's going to be an issue. And I thought even at quarterback, they had like, and David kind of beat me right to it. They had no intermediate passing game, coach. None. They were missing on out routes and just easy throws. And then on top of that, too, I'll give Cam McCoy this. So they had 2 drops in the game, coach. It just happened to be that the 2 drops came in like super important moments. One, I believe, was supposed to be a touchdown, but then also, 2, he missed some big time throws, too, where the wide receiver was open and he just didn't put it in good position and it was just a little bit out of reach. But the big thing was, I think you saw in the goal line forced fumble, coach, they were running some sort of RPO concept. And when it wasn't there, you have to get rid of the ball. Like, coach, if you got one read, and that's all you have, if that one read's not there, you either got to get out of the pocket and run, or throw it out the back of the end zone. Those are your two options. And he just stuttered and stopped, and the backside defender obviously got free, Thomas Johnson, and stripped him. You got to get rid of the football there, coach. And you have to know if your one read's not there, you got to get out of the pocket and can't sit there like a sitting duck and get stripped.
Well, the candid rule, man. Once you get outside, whether it's whether you're on the roll, whether you're on a sprint out, whatever, you can't stop your feet because those guys behind you, guess what they're doing? They're still chasing you. And for whatever reason, he got really lax, and that happened. But there were some key drops in the ASU receiver room, man, that kind of cost them. The one I remember down the seam hit him in both hands, and just wasn't able to pull it in. But to win those type of games, to win any game, you've got to be able to have those kind of plays because not everything's going to be perfect. You get two hands on it for a score, you got to pull that in. You got to pull that in.
Especially in this game. And I think that's what you kind of saw the difference in quarterback play. And coach, I'm a believer, and I know people hate the tag, and I just don't understand like why people. And Cam Newton kind of talked about this on his show. Why do people think game manager is a bad thing? Not everybody can be a game changer.
Yeah, give me a game manager.
Walker Harris is the perfect example of why game managers win games. Coach, 19 for 24, 183 yards, and a touchdown. I'll take that every single week. If we run for 231 yards and 3 touchdowns and average 7 yards per carry.
Just don't turn it over, Walker.
And he didn't.
Just keep it in the middle of the road, baby. And when you have a chance to score, tuck the ball.
Yeah, that was the big thing, right? That was his one major mistake is he didn't tuck the football. Because if they score there, coach, this game gets out of hand in the first half. That saved Southern. Like, there were a few plays where Central kind of shot themselves in the foot early and didn't really put this game away. Second half, made the adjustments, and they pulled away there. And that's where the difference in offense is a lot. Like, Central was okay walking down the field, coach. Southern wasn't able to do that. They couldn't take what was underneath. Like, they couldn't do it. Like I said, Trey Holly, great. Cameron McCoy, super athletic, right? But passing is not there. Coach, I didn't see any going through his progressions. I didn't see him do the things that you want from a quarterback, and that's why I was so critical for him. I don't think, like, if we're playing the blame game, coach, everyone thinks I just hate Cameron McCoy and I'm going to give him 100% of the blame. No, like, should he have been the starting quarterback? No, but now we kind of know the situation with Jalen Woods where he was benched or suspended, whatever you want to frame it. But Cameron McCoy only gets about 10-15% of the blame for me, coach. Offensive line and defense get like 90% of the blame for me, for Southern. In this game, because they got dominated at the line of scrimmage, and their offensive line could not keep pressure off of Cameron McCoy, especially in the second half.
And defense was supposed to be their calling card, and the run game was supposed to be what they hung their hat on. And for most parts, there was no calling card, and there was nothing to hang their hat on. And again, like you said earlier, being a coach, it's not that you don't work on those things. I think in the heat of the moment, sometimes those things gets clouded. But, I would have liked to have seen them do some things to kind of take pressure off the guy, off the kid, with some quick throws, maybe set up some screens to try to slow that rush down. Maybe get him on the edge, as we talked about before. Just little things like that to try and get a rhythm going once that thing started getting away from him. And I don't think I really saw that, and that's just my opinion. And my opinion is like birds; they're all over the place. But when you have that, and you have someone that you're saying wasn't your starter, it's just like if you go through 5 weeks, and something happens to Tom Brady, Jimmy G's got to come in there and perform. Nobody wants to hear about any of the other stuff. We just want Jimmy G to perform. So your guy's bench, he's not starting. Hey, that kid right there, let's go. Let's cut all the other stuff out. We can't put doubt. We got to ride with him because he's the one that's out there.
So we know what happened with Jalen, right? Suspended, bench for I don't know how long they told him, right, coach? As a coach, you've had to discipline players. I don't need you to name any specific examples, but you've been in the rooms where these decisions are made. And just depending on the mistake, it could be a quarter, it could be a half, it could be a game, it could be multiple games. I didn't understand only putting Jalen Woods in for 2 drives. Either suspend him for the entire game or suspend him till halftime. But like 3.5 quarters seems like a weird punishment to me. Like where we're gonna put you in with 5 minutes left of the fourth quarter and just let you like. What I didn't understand that, coach, and maybe you can rationalize it to me, but it feels like it was just a very weird amount of time to suspend a kid.
Yeah, I didn't. As a fan sitting on my couch, I didn't understand the 6 minute mark. Like you said, that was just kind of I don't want to say random, but maybe that's just kind of how the clock fell because they
It
had
was
the
random.
ball because they had the ball earlier in the fourth quarter. So if you say 3 quarters, uh, you can play once we get to the fourth. Then okay, like you said, I understand that, but they had already had a possession, if not 2 possessions, in the fourth. So I didn't understand that part. And then B, I'm from the Bobby Bowden School of Punishment. Uh, I'm not going to punish those other 85 guys for you. You're going to take your punishment. And what I mean by that is, hey man, I'm not setting the precedent of where Blue can do whatever he wants to do, and then I'm just going to run the crap out of him in practice. No, we're not setting that precedent. But again, if you are our guy, all right, you're going to apologize to the team, and then you're going to take whatever punishment that is after, or whatever we're doing. Or we're suspending you the whole game. You're not even dressing. You're not even going to dress. But to dress and play, at the 6 minute mark, 6 minutes, 38 seconds, or whatever it was a little different. But again, I'm from the Bobby Bowden School of Punishment, depending on what it is. We'll work that out amongst ourselves, but that was just a little different for me. 6 minute mark. Yeah.
I hear Southern fans to a point. Edwin said the game was over. That's even less of a reason to play them, in my opinion. If you've already lost, just stick with your suspension.
Yeah. I mean, let's ride it
Make
out.
it, and then you could come in the press conference and just say we suspended him for the game.
You know what's
It makes
hard?
me. You go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
It just makes me feel like they were iffy on whether they were going to go through with this or not.
Yeah, because you know what makes it harder? For him to explain why he's in that travel suit and not dressed. That way, when he comes out that locker room for kickoff, there's no question, there's no buzz wondering why he's not playing. He's not playing because he's in that travel suit. Now, I'll let him explain to his mom, his dad, whoever, why he's not playing, and then we'll later discuss it. But we're not going to leave it up in the air, and then it just brings in so much more outside noise that you really don't need.
Now, I'm kind of here too. Like, part of me, like, multiple things can be true at once. Mr. Campbell said he feels like he used it as an excuse to play McCoy because he always wanted to go with Cam because of the athleticism. Same trap that TC Taylor fell in last year early in the season.
Hey, again, the kid gave you the out, no doubt. If that's what it was, the kid gave you the out. Now let's just go all the way out with it. Do not dress him. You know what I mean? Or do not put him in. Because you've created a controversy even if it wasn't a controversy.
And can I say this too? I do want to have some grace here because this is a 19-year-old kid who, from all accounts that I've talked to, has been a really, really good kid. Like, this is the first incident they've ever had with him. And at the end of the day, you can't miss the bus, right? But there's a lot worse incidents out there that could have happened. It's a learning experience for the young kid. But also, too, man, like, I just want to level set here that, Coach, this is how big the punishment really was. That kid played high school football less than 10 minutes away from Center Park Stadium. He is from Atlanta. He probably had family all through that, was going to be all through that stadium, Coach. The punishment was enough. I hope he gets to play against Valley, but man, how big of a moment that could have been for him, Coach, on ABC in your hometown, right up the road from where you played high school ball. You know what I mean? you got to live, like David said, you just got to live and learn. But man, I think he served to like how big of a moment that could have been for him. And I do feel for the kid, being that he's only 19.
Oh, definitely feel for him. I hope that it hadn't done anything to the young man's confidence or his outlook on the sport, on the game, on the team, on the coaches, because it's still, like you said, he's 19. It's still a fine line of what they're thinking and what they're seeing. You know what I mean? If it was a deal of where the other coaches or whatever wanted to go with the other kid and this gave him an out, you better believe it's magnified now. And now you run the risk of splitting your team, you run the risk of splitting your fan base, all that stuff. When if it is stated in the team rules, hey man, whatever it is, here it is right here, rule number 2, you're not dressing, and be done with it. And then that eliminates so much more for you, rather than putting the kid in at the end of the game where your quarterback play hadn't been good all game. That just opens up a whole nother world of talk that you don't need.
Oh, and Mr. Cable, I want to make this clear for me, because I don't know about other people in the comments. I don't know about Coach. I get the punishment. I'm just saying I do feel for the kid. Like, part of me is like, man, just one mistake cost that kid that opportunity. You got to suspend them, because you can't set the precedent that you can get away with stuff, especially week 0. You're starting quarterback. I get the Bobby Bowden punishment model, but like at the same time, if you're going to set the discipline, you have to set the standard, and your starting quarterback has to be the one to carry that standard, coach. And so I get the punishment. I agree with you, Mr. Campbell. There's some coaches out there, especially them old school coaches, he would have been watching from the dorm room.
Oh, ain't no doubt. If it was that big a deal, you know what I mean? That's why I'm saying I get it, but A, to let him dress, B, to put him in at the 6-minute mark or whatever it was. That's just so many mixed signals to that 19-year-old, and now so many mixed signals to that fan base. I'll go back, quick story. We are maybe 21, and we are going to Bethune-Cookman. We're flying out the next morning. My starting corner has an issue in the dorm. And at the time, Cookman had the big kid, the tight end, that was just basically their offense. When they get in trouble, they just throw it up and let him go get it. Well, this is my 6'2" corner who's worked all week to play this kid, and then he has an issue in the dorm. We're going to Florida. The kid's from Florida, right? He don't make the plane. He don't make the plane. He don't call mom. He don't call the people. They meet us at the hotel, and they're like, where's so-and-so? Like, he didn't call you? Like, there was an issue at the dorm last night, and coach, that's how you kill that. It's over. Sebastian Janikowski came in late, curfew, Sugar Bowl. We'll deal with that later. You just continue to kick this thing out the end zone and bomb 50-yard field goals, but we're not going to punish the team. That's just my take on how things go, depending on, like you said, whatever the seriousness of it was or is. Now, are we done with it, or is this continuing on into Valley Week? It's continuing on to Valley Week.
Yeah. Look, I just say this, and this is no disrespect, and it's a little bit tongue-in-cheek. I don't know if it really matters who plays a quarterback this weekend, but a little different than playing North Carolina Central and Trey Oliver. No offense to T-Buck and those guys, but it's going to be a long year, I think. I think year 2 is the year that we're going to be looking at that Valley team as maybe a little bit of a tougher game, but I think Southern's going to be fine next week, Coach. And this is why week 0 overreactions are so funny. They're going to win by 50 next weekend, and everyone's going to forget kind of what happened this week.
The hype train.
But there's going to be a lot of Southern fans that just fire up the hype train again. We got some questions here, Coach. Charles Martin asked about our thoughts about those deep shots Southern tried to make. Do you think Central's DBs are susceptible to getting beat deep, or do you just think Southern's wide receivers just can make a play? Like, do you just think that Southern's receivers played bad football this weekend?
I again, like we just talked about, I think that's an issue that NCCU is going to have to get fixed because, that's on tape now. Now we know we can go ahead and go against, that would have been the right corner. All right, let's put our best over there, and let's see if he's gotten better with playing that deep ball. If he's gotten better with his press technique. So yeah, that's an NCCU cornerback, I think, issue.
I would say this: Central's corners, I don't think are bad. We're going to find out more about Central's corners this weekend against New Hampshire, and then I can make a statement. But off of one data point, I thought they played well in the second half. They started some corners that were kind of young that played more rotational roles last year. So it also could have just been growing pains week one. But I will say I am a little bit worried about Southern's receivers. I didn't see anyone out there, Coach, based on the film we have right now, that can just go make a play. Because, Coach, you've been on teams where, like Monterio Hunt, if we need a play, where's 14? You've been on other teams where you just you find the number and you say, that's the guy who can go make us a play when we need a big play. Coach, I'm asking, who's the guy for Southern? Is there a number out there that that comes to your mind? Is like, man, that's the guy we go to make a play if we got to throw the football?
Yeah, yeah, because I mean, again, that would be a concern for me because, like you just said, there was no one. But even you could even do that by committee, but the committee didn't show me they could get it done. And again, week 0. But yeah, there's got to be somebody that steps up, or the committee has to step up and be more consistent in that pass game for them to be successful for real.
Uh, Shamir, so me and Timothy recorded last night. If you go to any Apple podcast and or Spotify and just search the Bluebloods, me and Timothy did over an hour of week 0 FCS content, man. So you can go check it out there. We might hit a little bit if Coach has time at the end of the episode. Shout out to Bishop Bonnet, man. Shout out to my guy, number 0 from NCCU. Man, he did have a good game. I think that's Spikes, man. 6'2", 205. Had a good year last year, 3 for 36. Man, I mean, he had a pretty good game. I think we're going to see Walker open it up one of these days, Coach, because there's that game manager tag associated with him. I think he could have some big games, man. If they go away from the run for a little bit and really let them air it out, they have the receivers to really go make some plays.
Yeah, and again, I don't think they had to.
No.
So there was no need to go out and throw the ball 40 times this ball game once they found that little area that they could work. And then again, number 1 was in a groove. He was running that rock. Let's just put it that way. He was running that rock.
Bishop knows about that. Bishop knows what happens when number 1's in a groove, and you just got to run the football, man. He was doing this thing down there in FAMU. But, Coach, so how do you think this game affects Given's draft stock at all?
There were people in the building. Of course, there were people that really went and got that film because they wanted to see. He can't put that on tape again. Well, he can one more time, and you know what weekend I'm talking about. That's when I need him to put that on tape. But for the rest of the year, he can't put that on tape, or it's going to be a tough sled for him to get that opportunity if those type of performances step up, keep showing up. Now, if they keep showing up and those tackles are doing what NCCU tackles are doing, hey, that might be a win-win for everybody in that situation.
This is such a weird position for me. So we had him number 3 in our HBCU top 10, Coach, for draft prospects, me and Gerald for the site. Like you said, the FCS prospects are so fickle when it comes to how they're evaluated. If you have too many of these performances, man, you just get pushed off to the side. And you have to be dominant. I'll say this, coming into the year, Coach, I mean, it's really hard to find some bad film from Kelby Givens. I mean, the kid has had 2 years of just out. And we talked about on the preview about how much production he really has. I thought he had some opportunities to make a play. Let me say this. I don't think he played as bad as some people are saying. I don't think he made a big impact, right, Coach? But I mean, he still had, if I'm not mistaken, if he had the forced fumble on that touchdown when he chased down Walker and stripped it, had half a tackle for loss, had some pressures. He actually did pretty well with the pressures, but the problem is, man, there were so many pancakes in the run game, Coach. He got pancaked 4 to 5 times on Saturday night.
But this is what he's got to understand now. No one's running away from him. we're going to see if he can hold up. We're gonna go right at it, and then when it gets to that third quarter, that fourth quarter, and it's time for a pass rush, do you have anything else left in the tank? And to me, when Matt and them decided to go at him, I think that kind of gave some people in the near future hope on what to do with that kid, because he is a ball player, no doubt about it. He's a talent.
I'll say this: Central's offensive tackles made some money, and they're as good as advertised, man. That offensive line was so good. I just want to kind of wrap that up and say that one more time. I will say this though, and we talked about this, Coach, in the preview. We said it was so important for Southern to upgrade a D tackle and then have someone on the other side of Givens that could take some attention away. Coach, I don't know if he has any help on that defensive line, man. And I really do think if no one steps up at D tackle or the other edge spot, Givens is just going to get beat up week after week after week, and they are going to say you're going to have to beat these chips and double teams, and we're going to come and we're just going to run right at you. And if there's no one else on the D line that can step up and play better than they played this weekend, it is going to be really tough for Kelby Givens to do what he did the past 2 years.
Oh, ain't no doubt. And once you're known, it's hard to hide. I don't care where they move you. Yeah, you're primarily on the right. Okay, we're going to move him on the left this game. It's not going to take long for people to understand or realize that, oh, okay, he's here. Hey, switch. It went from 50 to 60 now, whatever. That kind of deal. So, they've got to find some creative ways, loop and, stand him up, let him zone drop sometimes. They're going to have to find different ways to help him get off without all the attention, because he's going to get all the attention.
Bishop, we kind of hit on it, so I'm with you because in my mind, Bishop, just knowing the offense that Central runs, you got to get Walker off his spot. You got to make Walker uncomfortable with pressure, and you have to make Matt Leone try to get outside of himself as a play caller as well. He's too good of a play caller for you just to play 8 yards back and be conservative with your defense. They're just going to pick you apart underneath. And the problem, Bishop, is they did blitz some. The problem was they were playing so far back that Walker would just get the ball out of his hands. When they did blitz, it would be a hitch. It'd be a slant. It'd be there was just so many quick hitting routes and just one read, like, okay, that DB's 8 yards back. Let's just throw right underneath them. That just neutralized the blitz. And so there was very few times where he had the ball in his hands for an extended amount of time. And the crazy part is when he did, they didn't blitz, and the defensive line was nowhere to be found. And, Coach, you know this. Leone is so good at scheming up when he takes his shots. And when it's not a quick pass, they catch you so off guard that a lot of the time they're really not in trouble.
Right. There's a way that he gets to max protection without letting you know that he's in max protection. There's a way that he gets to that dash protection where he moves him just a little bit off the spot to get it out of his hands. That's one of those things that he's become really, really good with. And, if I know where Zero's at, I can either go at him or I can darn sure figure out a way to get away from him and give myself some time, especially if the other three up there aren't doing a whole lot.
I want to say his average time to pass this weekend, I forgot who said the stat. It was like 2.2 seconds or something like that for just getting the ball out.
That ain't a lot of time.
I mean, what you going to do? Like, Coach, do you know how good of an edge rusher you got to be to get there in 2.2 seconds?
You got to be untouched.
And
that's cutting it like throw a hit.
You better be moving off the edge.
That thing timed up.
And then on that touchdown pass where he hit I want to say it was the tight end on that one touchdown pass Walker had. Bro, did you see like the screenshot, like when they went to the sky cam? Bro, they had a defensive end. Southern had a defensive end that was like 15 yards up the field for some reason.
Ran past him.
Well, what are we doing?
Ran past it. Yeah, the one he threw to Morgan. Hit the cap. Morgan phones. Yeah, that was kind of cool. Yeah, that was a nice call.
I mean, it's just I just don't I just don't understand what Southern was doing defense. But at the same time, week 0, if they go out and dominate Valley, everyone's going to just be like, "Oh, is Southern back?"
All aboard.
Hey, week 0, week 1, week 2 overreactions are my favorite thing in the world. But coach, our other question here, and I know this is your pet peeve. Major Bullies wants to know, what is the deal with SWAC coaches not wanting people to know who the QB is?
I don't know. I'm not a head coach.
So if you were a head coach, would you keep it a secret?
Nah, I mean to me, um, I I mean I don't see. I don't. I see it. I guess both ways or whatever. The element of surprise. You don't want people to go out, I guess, and get a whole bunch of reports back on Blue. But at the same token, um, even when they said the school up the street stole the playbook from the other team, you got the playbook, but you don't know when it's being called. You don't know how it's being called. So what does it do you any good to have that? So what does it do you any good to have all that tape on Blue playing quarterback if, again, he's playing with a different team than what he was playing with that you're watching? So, to each his own. If we got a competition, we got a competition, and then when it's over, we'll name who it is and be done with it. If I was a head coach, but one of those things, I think it's just when I don't know.
This is what I need from you, coach. Bro, I need to come down to Lorman and get this on like camera. Can we pull the Mike Leach where he dropped the play sheet at the 50?
Yeah.
They thought they had all the plays, and they get what was it, like 21-0 before they caught on to what he did.
Hey, they had nothing to do with any of that.
We need more of that at the SWAC, coach. I need to, I need to see Gales walking at the 50 and just dropping a piece of paper before the Southern game and see if they'll bite on the play calls.
Pick it up and be rolling with it. You know what I mean? Like, okay, hey, he called 5. Hey, option right. Yeah, it has nothing to do with option right, or matter of fact, the right side of the field. But yeah, it's crazy, man. But I love it. I love it.
And to be fair, your coach did name his QB1 today. Everyone in the chat's already kind of put it in there, man. So shout out to Coach Said. Not instead of asking every media member if they want to play quarterback for Alcorn next year. So at least we know, because I get it to a point, coach, but there's some times where like it's so obvious who the starter is that it's just like, bro, you can tell us, like we know, like we know already.
Yeah, like, bro, you got Dan Marino and Fred competing for your freaking quarterback job. Of course it's Dan Marino, but if you want to drag it out, let's drag it out. That kind of thing.
Yeah, come on, man. Like, and then the funny part is, like, there's just certain teams where it's like, I don't think it matters what quarterback you start, bro. It's going to be a lost season regardless.
And the one you throw out there might not be the one that finishes.
That's what Mickey Joseph said today, coach. I don't know if you heard. He was like, bro, like, the mistake I made last year is I stuck with the guy too long. If you ain't playing well at every position, you coming out.
I hear you, Mick. I hear you, coach.
He said, why treat quarterback any different than we treat O-line? Coach, if your left tackle ain't blocking well enough, guess what? You going to another left tackle. He said, if my quarterback's not playing good enough, why wouldn't I go to another quarterback?
I don't know. It's that one position, man, that has the most leeway. It's the one position that gets the biggest spotlight at any level. You think about it from Little League on up. You think about the kids that are in Pee Wee football that are named, that are playing quarterback. If you follow them all the way through, they're the cool kids. They're looked at different, and that's that one position, man.
You know how it is, man. So, coach, there was a bunch of, and just real quickly, we're going to wrap up here. There was a ton of FCS content throughout the weekend. Any games catch your eye outside of the NCCU Southern game?
Man, we talked about it a little bit off camera. Just Nichols, going back and just watching that defensive performance that they put on was really impressive. And they were unranked. What was it? Not too long ago that they were, a ranked FCS program. So that showing says that they may be back to where they were a few years ago.
I was very, very impressed with Nichols' defense, man. Like their two edge rushers, coach, combined for like 18 tackles, like 5 for loss, 3.5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, just wreaked havoc. But at the same time, I mean, I gotta ask you, coach, how do you? So let me say this for a first time starter, because we know like audibles and check with me's and things like that are a thing. Are you putting out a quarterback that doesn't know how to set the protection?
No, either he better know it or the guys up front better know it. You know, being with Coach Simmons, uh, the center set the protection, but the quarterback knew it, right? But the center set the protection. When I'm calling at Stillman, the quarterback set the protection. It was up to him to relay it to the offensive line. So it's called, but either way, you better know. You know what I mean? And I think sometimes in that contest, he didn't know.
Well, I went back and watched the film. So the first sack, I thought he was hot. He just beat the left. I mean, he beat the left tackle so bad that I thought he was hot. That's how bad the left tackle got beat. It was just blindside. I mean, there ain't nothing you can do, right, Coach? I mean, as an offensive lineman, that's when you just yell, cover the ball.
Look out.
Yeah, that's it. The other one, though, Coach, the guy didn't even get touched. And, Coach, I went back and looked. I thought they walked 6 guys into the box. Coach, they only rushed 4 guys.
Right. And that was one of the ones that we talked about where we were like, okay, there was a miscommunication somewhere because they completely cut that guy loose. And he had no idea that they completely cut that guy loose. If we're, just real quick, you're never throwing a hot off the D tackles or the D ends. It's those extra guys. So somebody should have been responsible for that guy. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm sure those are things that they had to really, really address this week because that happened too often in that game.
Yeah, I thought Nichols played a really, really good game, man. I thought the kid they had at quarterback was a really, really nice game manager, man. Didn't make a lot of mistakes, made the throws, had enough ability to get out of the pocket and make some plays, man. Tarleton just, come on, man. Tarleton just looked good. 42-0 over Portland State is actually insane. I think it was like the first home shutout loss for Portland State, coach, since like 2003. So they just went out there and made a statement. It was the backup running back Trey Page that really made a point. And Bishop makes a good point, coach. And we're going to end it on this. Excuse me, because we talked about this before the show. There's no chance we're letting our starting quarterback miss the bus.
We ain't going nowhere.
No. You go get the backup the third string left guard has to go missing, and coach be mad about him while we go look for the quarterback.
Yeah, we ain't going nowhere. That bus is not leaving until said player is getting on the bus. Now, when he gets on the bus, he's gonna catch holy hell, but he's still on that bus before he leaves.
Yeah, that there's no, and yes, David, Trey Page played at Langston Hughes. That's where he was. And then, coach, is there any week 1 game outside of your own that you're most looking forward to watching this weekend?
I'm really excited about seeing the Michael Vick show, man. That hype train's been rolling since he was hired, and I'm interested to see what it looks like. They've got the buzz rolling, man. So I'd love to see that game. I can't wait to see that game.
Had to watch it on replay.
Yeah, I've been searching for links already, but nobody's got a link up, and I'm like, you would have thought that somebody would have picked that game up just because.
Oh, it's on ESPNU, I want to say.
I didn't see anything yesterday when I looked to see if there was was there a link or whatever, but yeah, I'll definitely try to check that out. I'm excited just to see his era start and see exactly what it looks like.
I'm gonna have to go split screen on that one, because I think y'all play at the exact same time as them
They start later.
later. Okay, still gotta be split screen because I'm sure y'all won't be done before they kick off. Those are two games very, very interesting in seeing. And man, also this weekend, Coach, you got the Sac State hype train coming into Brookings, man.
Yeah.
Sac State versus South Dakota State.
Catch
Woo.
them at the right time too. In the
Yeah.
summer.
Yes, Emmett. Neil Lomax did go to Portland State. That was the game. He was the starting quarterback on the team that scored 105 points on Delaware State.
That's crazy.
105 to nothing, Coach.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, and Reese, Alcorn plays Northwestern State out of the Southland.
That's crazy.
Dustin said you're gonna load up on meat pies after the win this weekend. And where's Northwestern State? I'm blanking on with the city, but
Nacogdoches.
oh god, good luck.
I don't know anything about it, but yeah, Nacogdoches, man.
Bro, if it's not like New Orleans or like Baton Rouge or
Natchitoches,
like
not Nacogdoches. Natchitoches. I've been corrected on
Natchitoches
that so many times. Natchitoches. Yeah.
down
Yeah.
there in Natchitoches, down there in central Louisiana. He's Davis said them crawfish pies good. Don't sleep on it. Just
We'll
saying.
find.
Guys, we appreciate you. Man, hey, listen, we appreciate y'all, man. For real, hit the like button, subscribe. Also, make sure to go to the Common Man podcast and subscribe to Coach's channel as well. This will replay the day after we stream here, so we'll stream Monday. It will stream on Coach's show. A replay of this will stream on Coach's channel on Tuesday. We'll stream on Wednesday, and a replay of that will stream on Thursday or Friday before the games. And I'll say this: go subscribe because he needs to be monetized. Coach, you're about 50 subscribers away, 40 subscribers away from being monetized, man. So make sure to go hit the subscribe button and get Coach monetized and grow his channel. And yes, Bishop, I agree. It's a bigger question of why his teammates let him miss the bus, especially given that he was the starting quarterback. Massive.
See, you don't dress him because you don't want all those questions. That's why you just don't dress him. You just don't dress him.
Yeah. And Coach, go ahead and tell Coach said put it up because I know you get the travel plans ready from Alcorn. I know. So I know you could do this. Y'all got to stop at the Chevron, get the whole team meat pies and fish.
I can see 3 charter buses pulling up to the Chevron.
Oh, man, y'all are hilarious. But guys, we appreciate y'all, man. If you want some more FCS based content, man, go to Apple Podcast, Spotify. Me and Timothy did an hour episode last night, and me and Coach will be back Wednesday to preview, or no, Thursday, Thursday for a week 1 preview, man. We are going to talk about all the biggest week 1 games on the HBCU and even some of the FCS slate. But for Coach Fred, for myself, the Bluebloods, FCS Football Central on SI, we are out for right now.